Welcome to the Performance Enhancing Podcast. It's like steroids for your brain. A podcast for people looking to live life at their peak potential, chock full of real-world tools and knowledge that you can apply in your life today. By providing you with a lens into the lives, beliefs, practices, and actions of those who are already living extraordinary lives, the Performance Enhancing Podcast will help you shift your mindset or create that change in your daily rituals and habits so you can explode with success in the areas of life that are most important to you. So get ready for another dose of Performance Enhancing Podcast with Satori Prime. Here's your host, Ilan Ferdman.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another Performance Enhancing Podcast with your host, Ilan Ferdman. And last night, I received some not so great news. I guess we can talk about great, not great. But for me, it was rather sad. You've probably heard me mention this gentleman's name many a times on the podcast or reference something of his. But Dr. Wayne Dyer passed away last night at the age of 75. His family actually posted on Facebook and let everyone know that Wayne had passed on and no longer is in his body, which is, everything that Wayne Dyer had always spoken about. He was someone that's been in the personal development space and spirituality space, speaking on PBS. If you don't know the man, I highly, highly recommend that you go out and check some of his talks. Probably one of the best storytellers of all time. I've been lucky enough to see him live at least a couple of times, and the world lost a really, really special human being. And if you haven't had a chance to listen to him, what I want to do, and I don't know for how many episodes, but in my head, I probably have at least 4, maybe 5. I'm going to just put everything on hold and in honor of Wayne Dyer, who was such a monumental influence in my life. I want to share some of my favorite stories with you and some of my favorite insights with you from Wayne Dyer, someone who has impacted millions of lives, has been on the Oprah show, actually married Ellen DeGeneres. Just an incredible human being. And what I really appreciate about him more than anything else is the fact that he took us on his journey. And you've probably heard me say this, just do you. And he just did him. And he took us on this incredible journey of his ups and downs and his lessons. And he never spoke as what he had to say was the absolute truth, because he knew that he was always ever evolving. And as he was learning more, he just openly shared that with the world and really became a beacon for light and love and kindness and understanding and healing to so many people. And so in honor of you, Wayne Dyer, I'm going to dedicate at least the next 4 or 5 episodes of the Performance Enhancing Podcast and do pep talks specifically about some of your teachings, some of your stories, etc. And today I'm going to share with you one that was as close to home as humanly possible. This is the first story I ever remember listening to of Wayne Dyer and absolutely sobbing in my car. I pulled up and we had an underground type of parking lot where I used to work. And the story was about halfway through and I just sat in my car listening to the rest of the story and then proceeded to cry in my car by myself for probably the next 5 to 10 minutes, gathered myself up, came upstairs, and told my friend, Ben, who had introduced me to Wayne Dyer at this time, I told him if I ever have a son, I'm going to name him Shaya. And lo and behold, here we are. I was probably about 25 at the time, no prospect of a wife, no son on the horizon. But I just knew 5 years after that, I had my son. I actually shared that name originally with my wife, who within about half a second just turned it completely down, which was just shocking to me. I just thought it was written, right? Like that's how it's going to be. And she shot it down. But eventually, I guess there are no accidents in the world, and your creation is your reality, which is another one of Wayne Dyer's big teachings. So what I want to do today is I'm going to actually read to you. So over the next few weeks, some episodes, I'll actually put his clips in there. Other ones I found text, so I'll read. So what I want to share with you guys today is the story of Shaya and what touched me so much and why my son is actually named Shaya. Now, the spelling of the name is slightly different, but that's not really the point of this. So I hope you enjoy this story as much as I did. And we'll talk a little bit about it after. But if I can urge any of you who have not listened to Wayne Dyer to go out and, go check him out on YouTube or go just get some audio and stick it in your car, it will change your life. I promise you, it will change your life. So here's the story of Shaya, and it's titled, Where is God's Perfection? In Brooklyn, New York, Chush is a school that caters to learning disabled children. Some children remain in Chush for their entire school career, while others can be mainstreamed into conventional schools. At a Chush fundraiser, the father of a child delivered a speech that would never be forgotten by all who attended. After extolling the school and its dedicated staff, he cried out, "Where's the perfection in my son Shaya? Everything God does is done with perfection, but my child cannot understand things as other children do. My child cannot remember facts and figures as other children do. Where is God's perfection?" The audience was shocked by the question, pained by the father's anguish, stilled by the piercing query. "I believe," the father answered, "that when God brings a child like this into the world, the perfection that he seeks is the way people react to this child." He then told the following story about his son Shaya. One afternoon, Shaya and his father walked past a park where some boys Shaya knew were playing baseball. Shaya asked, "Do you think they'll let me play?" Shaya's father knew that his son was not at all athletic and that most boys would not want him on their team. But Shaya's father understood that if his son was chosen to play, it would give him a comfortable sense of belonging. Shaya's father approached one of the boys in the field and asked if Shaya could play. The boy looked around for guidance from his teammates. Getting none, he took matters into his own hands and said, "We're losing by 6 runs, and the game is in the 8th inning. I guess he can be on our team, and we'll try to put him up a bat in the 9th inning." Shaya's father was ecstatic as Shaya smiled broadly. Shaya was told to put on a glove and go out to play short center field. In the bottom of the 8th inning, Shaya's team scored a few runs, but was still behind by 3. In the bottom of the 9th inning, Shaya's team scored again, and now with 2 outs and the bases loaded with the potential winning run on base, Shaya was scheduled to be up. Would the team actually let Shaya bat at his juncture and give away their chance to win the game? Surprisingly, Shaya was given the bat. Everyone knew that it was all but impossible because Shaya didn't even know how to hold the bat properly, let alone hit with it. However, as Shaya stepped up to the plate, the pitcher moved a few steps to lob the ball in softly so Shaya could at least be able to make contact. The first pitch came in and Shaya swung clumsily and missed. One of Shaya's teammates came up to Shaya and together they held the bat and faced the pitcher, waiting for the next pitch. The pitcher again took a few steps forward to toss the ball softly towards Shaya. As the pitch came in, Shaya and his teammate swung into bat together and they hit a slow ground ball to the pitcher. The pitcher picked up the soft grounder and could easily have thrown the ball to first baseman. Shaya would have been out and that would have ended the game. Instead, the pitcher took the ball and threw it in a high arc to right field, far beyond the reach of first baseman. Everyone started yelling, "Shaya, run to first, run to first." Never in his life had Shaya run to first. He scampered down the baseline wide-eyed and startled. By the time he reached first base, the right fielder had the ball. He could have thrown the ball to second baseman, who would have tagged Shaya out, who was still running. But the right fielder understood what the pitcher's intention were. So he threw the ball high and far over the third baseman's head. Everyone yelled, "Run to second, run to second." Dyer ran towards second base as the runner ahead of him deliriously circled the bases towards home. As Shaya reached second base, the opposing shortstop ran to him, turned him in the direction of third base, and shouted, "Run to third." As Shaya rounded third, the boys from both teams ran behind him screaming, "Shaya, run home." Shaya ran home, stepped on home plate, and all 18 boys lifted him on their shoulders and made him the hero, as he had just hit the grand slam and won the game for his team. That day, said the father softly, with tears now rolling down his face, those 18 boys reached their level of God's perfection. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry if I choked up and you couldn't understand some of it, but I'll actually link. I was reading this off a blog called Place of Persistence, and I'll put the link in here. So yeah, that was my reaction the first time. Reading it, I think, is even more painful, or not even painful. I think what I'm not in pain. I'm just moved by when humans love and are kind to each other when they absolutely do not have to be. That moves me to no end. And if we could just all reach to that level of kindness and that level of love, every one of us has that ability. And if a bunch of boys playing baseball who know nothing about humanity can find it within themselves to do that for a kid and give up winning, I guarantee you that that moment is a moment that all of them will remember forever. And you will most likely remember the story forever, just like I have. Wayne Dyer had the ability to bring out the best in humans. And I think why I will miss him so much is because he put me on that path. And now it's up to me and every one of you listening who's bold enough to step up and be that for the world. We are all God's children, and we all have the ability to be this for every single human being on the planet. And that's our choice, moment by moment by moment. My brother and I built Satori Prime so we can fulfill on that. And that's been our mission from day one. So to you, Wayne Dyer, if you're ever listening, I want you to know that you've changed my life. And those are the people around me. And because of you, I have a son named Shaya, who always reminds me that love is the answer to everything. So I love you all. Thank you so much for listening. And I'm sorry it turned into a slapping mess. But I'm not sorry. It feels good to feel something that deeply. And I hope you do too. So from the bottom of my heart, for everyone that listens, if you found this story moving, please share this. This could seriously change someone's life. I love you all, and keep listening as I keep sharing more of his amazing stories and more of his amazing takeaways. And I'm not promising that I won't be a slobbering mess during all of them, but I'll do my best. I love you all. Kiss and love the ones you're with. Have an amazing day.